if I've been blue. Now I'm walking through fields of flowers. Rain may glisten, but still I listen for hours and hours. I'm just a kid again, doing what I did again, singing this song. When the red, red robin comes bob, bob, bobbing. When the red, red robin comes bob, bob, bobbing. When the red, red robin comes bob, bob, bobbing along.
Hi guys, welcome to this little bonus episode, I want to call it. I'm only doing it for 10-15 minutes. I'm just putting it out there. We're about 3 hours away exactly now. We're just coming up to 5 o'clock. So we're about 3 hours away from Rovers' first game of the season, round one, obviously against the Wigan Warriors. It's going to be a really interesting clash, something that we're really looking forward to. I think we want to kickstart from that semi-final. We've got a bit of a point to prove. We've got a lot of doubters. You know, you look on social media, you've either got people saying that we're going to finish in the top four or people saying we're going to finish in the bottom four. So we've definitely got a point to prove tonight. I just thought I'd speak to you guys, see how you're all feeling, even if not many people interact or anything. It's nothing really. I'm just doing it to get a bit more content out there. So obviously I will go over the team. So Wigan have named the 21-man squad. So Matty Peter is their new coach. Obviously he took over Adrian Lamb. So he's very big on defensive work and working down the middle of the ruck. And I think you'll probably see tonight a very much Shaun Wane-esque team, and they're going to line up with Jake Bibby, 𝐂𝐸𝐿𝐴𝐴, former Robin Ian Thornley, Liam Marshall, 𝐂𝐾𝐜𝐿, Thomas Lulawai, Brad Singleton, Sam Powell, Patrick Mago, Willie Isa, and Liam Farrell. They've also got John Bateman, Morgan Smithies, Cade Ellis, Harry Smith, Oliver Partington, Liam Byrne, Kai Pearce-Paul, Joe Shorrocks, Jai Field, and Abbas Miski. I mean, if you're probably looking at their team now, they're danger men, in my opinion. You've obviously got Bateman, who was absolutely amazing when he was at Canberra. He didn't have the best season back in Super League. Last season, obviously, it was a bit of a COVID hit year. You've got Liam Farrell and Willie Isa in the second row, who they depend on so much. Especially Liam Farrell, I've got him on my bet tonight. I've done a request bet on Sky Bet. It's 33-1. If people think I know what I'm talking about, put your money where your mouth is, and I'm putting mine. So it's 33-1. It's Sam Wood, 𝐂𝐿ACE 𝐶𝐜, and Liam Farrell to score any time. Both teams to score 16+, and Rovers to get the victory. They've obviously got a lot of new players in there. Abbas Miski's come from the London Broncos. They've got Cade Ellis and Patrick Mago and 𝐾𝐿𝐴C from the NRL. But then you look at the likes of Kai Pearce-Paul, Joe Shorrocks, Liam Byrne, all the youngsters that we're going to brought and bred through. And I think that's what we're doing now, similar very much with our academy. And I think that's testament to what Wigan have done for so many years. They've got a really good team on paper. Obviously, they struggled last year. But I think what to expect for them tonight, I think the halfback pairing, you've got to get at them. It's going to be probably 𝐾𝐿𝐴C and Thomas Lulawai, or maybe Jai Field will slipping at fullback because they're still missing Bevan French. But you know how they're probably going to line up. And I think we said it on the podcast on Wednesday night. If one of their sides is Ian Thornley, Liam Marshall and Willie Isa, I think if that's the side where Sean Kennedy, Ryan Hall and Kane Lynette are, then Rovers have got a really good chance to capitalise tonight. I'd be really going attacking. I'm going to speak about Rovers in depth soon and talk about where I think the game can be won or lost tonight. But I definitely think if we can manage it down the middle of the park, if we can control the ruck, if Jez and Matt Parcell at hooker can speed it up, and I think that's where Rovers can dominate tonight. You look at this time last year when we played them at home, and I know we can't compare it. It's two totally different teams. Now it's a new season. We're right 2021 off. But I think that's what Rovers did really well, and they kind of shook Wigan early doors. We went 16-0 up early, didn't we, if you remember correctly? Ethan Ryan scoring a really good try. So did Rowan Milnes. And then they came back, and then eventually we scored the two back-to-back tries. But tonight, I mean, you look at that team, they've still got quality all around, haven't they? Brad Singleton, Sam Powell, they're coming into their later years in Super League now. They've been around the block, but they've got a point to prove. And as we move on to Hull Kingston Rovers, this is the 21-man squad that Tony Smith has named. So we know that Wilmar's heading to West Yorkshire this weekend to feature for Dewsbury against Sheff. So we're still missing the likes of Ben Crooks, Louis Johnson and Wilmar. We have got 𝐂𝐿ACE 𝐶𝐜, who is set to line up fullback, Brad Takarangi, Sean Kennedy-Dowell and Ryan Hall, Jordan Abdul and Albert Vette, Matt Parcell, George King, Dean Hadley, Kane Lynette, Matty Staunton, Jez Litton, Corbin Sims, Jimmy Carnos, Will Dagger, Mikey Lewis, Rowan Milnes, Sam Wood, Greg Richards, Tom Garrett and Frankie Halton. How I'd line up tonight, again, it is repetitive from Wednesday, but I think I'd stick with the same team that I went. It's very much what predominantly a lot of people think it's going to be, and I'd definitely go with 𝐂𝐿ACE 𝐶𝐜 Sam Wood on the right-hand side with 𝐂𝐜𝐜𝐸. The left-hand side, centre and winger, is obviously going to be 𝐁𝐮𝐝 and Ryan Hall. I'd pip Mikey Lewis over Rowan Milnes and have him and Abdul in the 6 and 7 role. 𝐂𝐵𝐵𝐵𝑇 and George King as the starting front rowers with Matt Parcell at dummy half. And in the second row, I'd go Kane Lynette, the big red machine. Dean Hadley, who's returning back after an operation. And Matty Staunton, who will be wearing number 13. I assume he will play number 13 tonight. On the bench, I will go Jez Litton, Corbin Sims, Greg Richards, and I'm going to go Jimmy 𝐂𝐼𝐼𝐻. That's what I think. It's just Nath Bray now then, mate. Can't wait to be in that East Stand tonight. Going to be rocking. Now then to you, mate. Hopefully I'll see you there. Come and say hello. I'm really looking forward to it. Hopefully it is going to be rocking. I mean, we know we're going to have only brought 500 people, but they're still going to be loud. We would have expected more. I saw Chris put on earlier that he was a bit disappointed in the amount of attendees that are coming over from the Pennards, and it's disappointing. We travel, if it was the first game of the season and we was at the DW, you'd imagine there'd be 1,500. So hopefully we can make the noise, make it a cauldron, and definitely, as Stuart Wilson said, can't wait to get in the East. And I'm in the North, so we'll be rocking it in the North, hopefully, and so the West and the East as well. And people in Craven Street, drop us a message where you're going to be standing tonight. And Stuart Wilson says as well, come on you Reds, let's have it, Joe. That's definitely how I'm feeling, buddy. Really looking forward to getting back at Craven Park tonight. I've seen the 2 friendlies, but there's nothing like the round opener. And I think my favourite round opener was probably, obviously, like everybody else's, Jimmy 𝐂𝐼𝐼𝐻 in 2019. Pentthorn says on YouTube, rally around the Robins. Hopefully a massive atmosphere tonight, you know, singing, shouting, people having a beer, having a good time. The first game back with proper no COVID restrictions. So hopefully we have a big crowd. I'm going in 4 in hand, Nath. I'm not coming in red hell, I don't think, buddy. What I'll do is I'm going to go in 4 in hand I'm setting off in about 15 minutes, picking up my mate. And then we are going to 4s, about 6 or 7 of us. And then we will travel down, go pick my granddad up and walk across Stonebridge, do our little routine, get in that North Stand, and I might see you. But no, I won't be in Red Hell for this one, but I will be normally in the summer. It's just with it being the first game, we've already set that we are meeting in 4 in hand down Oldness Road. Am I feeling confident? I was on BBC Radio Humberside this morning and I was on Beverly FM last night. So I know I do a lot of stuff and a lot of people might get bored of my voice, but I do try my best to keep myself occupied and try and get as much content for the Red Robin podcast as I can. So I was on with Kofi Smiles this morning on the breakfast show and was just saying, round one's round one. If we win tonight, we're not going to win the grand final. And if we lose tonight, we're not going to get relegated. You know, there's a lot of rugby league to be played. And I think I'd love us to start off tonight. I'm not nervous. I'll be nervous as kick-off and when Red Robin starts playing, or Seven Nation Army and then Eurasia, the old playlist that gets played. I think I'll be a little bit nervous then, but at this moment in time, I'm okay. You know, I'm just excited. I want to see what the boys are doing and how they're going to play. Is it going to be a free-flowing style? What's 𝐂𝐿𝐴𝐾𝐿, if he's even playing? We know probably is, but I think 𝐂𝐿𝐴𝐾𝐿's going to bring us calm and composure. And that's what we probably needed. We have been too erratic at times. And even though that's worked for us and we've got 80 minutes away from Old Trafford, we've still got to improve. And we was very inconsistent last year. And I think he's going to bring that sense of calm, composed, three-peat winner into the side. So I imagine he'll line up at 1. And like I said, I'd probably put Sam Wood and 𝐂𝐜𝐼𝐼𝐻 on the right-hand side. For me, Abdul's kicking game's massive tonight. We have got to kick to Sam Wood and 𝐂𝐜𝐼𝐼𝐻. They're both, 𝐂𝐜𝐼𝐼𝐻's about 6'2", Sam Wood 6'3", 6'4". You've seen his stature. You've seen what he can do in attack and in defence. He's going to be tested tonight. We're going to be tested in defence by them at certain times of the game. And we've got to manage it there. But I think for the main bit in attack, if we can kick on the 5th and last to them 2 in the air, anything can happen. We saw last year with 𝐂𝐜𝐼𝐼𝐻's first touch against Leeds, which was on the Our League app. He knocked on, but he caught it and nearly went over the line. We don't use 𝐂𝐜𝐼𝐼𝐻 enough in the kicking game, in my opinion. And we always seem to go for grubbers on the 5th and last. If you watch Abdul, if we're close to the line, whereas I think now him and Mikey, you've got to kick. We've got a lot of height with Sean Kennedy-Dow and Ryan Hall, a lot of experience in challenging 50-50s. So I think that could be a play where Rovers really could dominate Wigan tonight. I think Liam Marshall is a brilliant winger, but you see him a lot of the time, and if he makes a few mistakes, he does struggle and he shoots out a lot of the time. And if he's going to be partnering with either Hardacre or Thornley in a centre, doing a bit of analysis on them, you've got they jump out, especially in Thornley. You look at him when he was at Rovers, he played for 1 season and we must have conceded about 50 tries down his side and it resulted in us getting relegated. So he's made a controversial move from late to get the number 4 shirt for Wigan, pardon me. And I think we saw what 𝐂𝐽𝐫𝐿 did to him last year when we sent him for an absolute hot dog. And I think if we can do that again tonight, then we won't be far off. But I'm really hoping to see the bench dominate as well. I mean, I'd go Greg Richards as the prop forward with 𝐂𝐵𝐼𝐶𝐼. Greg Richards is coming, obviously, a grand final winner in 2014 with London. He's got a bit of a point to prove as well. He struggled in the 2 pre-season matches. He gradually got better against Huddersfield, but I think against Dewsbury it was a bit of maybe nerves coming back into a Super League team. He's been up and down the divisions, hasn't he, for Sheffield. London, he played in Super League in 2019, stuck with the Broncos, but with them pulling out a full-time rugby and the capital team struggling at the moment. We've took a punt on Greg Richards, and he's got the calibre. He won a grand final at 19. I know he wasn't involved a lot on that day, but he still played at Old Trafford and he's still won more than plenty of our players have as well. And he's still young. I think he's 26, so I'm looking forward to a big season off him. People are talking about 𝐂𝐵𝐼𝐶𝐼. He did an interview with James O'Brien, the whole Daily Mail report, saying he knows he was erratic. He knows he needs to keep his cool. We might see a different 𝐂𝐵𝐼𝐶𝐼. You know, we've seen glimpses of it against Huddersfield. His tracking, his defence, his attitude in attack. We saw 𝐂𝐵𝐼𝐶𝐼 really give it his all, and yeah, it was only a trial match. But I think going home to see his son and his family, having Christmas over there, having a bit of a shorter pre-season, but doing it over there with his brothers in Australia, he's still kept fit. He looks like he's in really good shape. Still a questionable haircut, but look at mine at the minute. I've just got out of the shower. If I keep doing that, it's because I'm putting a cap on and I ain't got any hairspray on. So I look like I've got a fluffy head at the moment, which I have. And this camera does me no justice as well. But I think 𝐂𝐵𝐼𝐶𝐼, yeah, Nath is massive tonight, coming off the bench. They're going to have probably Ollie Partington coming off the bench. They've got a lot of young kids, maybe. I don't know what their interchange is going to look like. Obviously, we'll know the teams in about 2 hours, 7 o'clock, won't we, if it's an 8 o'clock kickoff. But yeah, I think 𝐁𝐿 is vital. We know what 𝐁𝐿 is going to do. Matt Parcell's going to set the tone. He's going to set the pace. He's going to just scoop from dummy half and make 20, 30 metres. He's going to have a good offload game. He'll be playing off the back of 𝐁𝐿𝐼𝐶𝐼. 𝐁𝐿 comes on. He just does the same things. I don't need to speak about Parcell and 𝐁𝐿. I've spoke about it enough in pre-season. I know how good them two are. Them two are the reason why we were so good last year, and especially for 𝐁𝐿 now cementing that spot because he's only 24. We've got Matt Parcell for another year. Hopefully, if them two can build on that partnership, then we can, create something special down the middle of the park. Because the rugby, you look at last night, St Helens and Catalan, obviously a massive win for the champions. They looked outstanding again, especially in glimpses. They didn't have a full 80-minute performance. I thought they struggled at first. It was a typical scrappy opening game of the year. Dylan Napper getting sent off and Gil Dudson getting a yellow card for the French team, but it showed the pace. It was like an NRL game sometimes at that pace, and that's what we've got to do. I think in Super League, if you can match people's speed and you can out-infuse them in attack and defence, you won't be far off. Skill can only take you so far. You've got to out-infuse teams, and that's what Rovers did so much and so well last year. You look at the DW game, I think because of the situation, because there was only about 10 Rovers fans there because they scrapped it completely, it was just for home fans, and the fact England were playing Scotland at Wembley in the Euros at exactly the same time, there was only a certain amount of people who probably watched that game, and the defence more than anything, which was what we hadn't seen for Hull KR for so long. Defence wins your matches, and I think if we can carry on some of them performances like we did last year, keeping Warrington scoreless in a quarter-final with 10 first-team players out. Not many people talk about that. And Stanley Jean and Dave Hodgson are massive on defence. I know Stanley's been working with the middlemen. Dave Hodgson's obviously an outside back, really good defensively read coach. I had Dave as my under-19s assistant coach under Kev Deaton, and he was very much involved in attack as much as he was defence. He was so astute with our wingers. He told them where to go. His positioning from the kicks, if you're tracking at full-back. And if you watch Dave Hodgson, I know when you get into the heat of the game, but if you see Dave when he runs on, he's telling everyone where to go. I know that's his role, but he's really good at communicating. I know he don't come across it when he's speaking to the media because he's quite a sharp bloke, but in front of the kids, I still speak to a few of the players now, and they say Dave Hodgson's still as good as as good a coach as he was a player, just because of his knowledge of the game. And Stan's a cult hero, we know what Stan brings. He brings aggression, he brings no nonsense, and he's probably been working with our forwards in winning the ruck, in winning the floor. Little things can matter, and especially in heated games, the atmosphere is going to be hot tonight. The first 20, 30 minutes, they'll be singing, there'll be people shouting. It'll be like the Coliseum. If the prop forwards hit, bang, get the hooker going, get Matt Parcell or 𝐁𝐿, whoever starts. That's where Rovers have got to do. We've got to be fast, we've got to be quick, and You do that tonight, and there's no reason why we can't go and beat Wigan tonight. And I think in front of the Sky Sports cameras, it's going to be an absolutely great affair. Let's show the world that Hull Kingston Rovers can continue this in 2022. We'll do our part off the pitch. I'm just hoping the boys can do it on the pitch. Stuart says he's more nervous because there's no form record to look at. There is, and you can look at the other argument, can't you? It's everyone's from scratch. You've got 12 teams, 10 who haven't played yet, 2 who obviously have. We kick off same time as Salford and Castleford tonight, who's playing at the Jungle. But we are, we're the same as everybody. We're on the same points. We're ready to go. It doesn't matter. Round 1, we give it our all tonight, and we'll see where we go. It's flown by, but it's dragged. I'm buzzing to be back. I'm buzzing to get with my mates. I'm so excited to just sit with them, have a beer, talk about, pretend we're Tony Smith and say where the game's going to win, where the game's going to be won, where the game's going to be lost. Put our money on bets who's first try scorer. I love what we do as fans before the game. It's just nice to get back into that. And I think tonight could be a really special night if Hull Kingston Rovers pick up the 2 points. It's going to be, obviously, we've got a bit of an emotional attachment with 𝐂𝐿𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵 with the 10% for Tonga tickets. Obviously, if you've bought tickets, it's going to the Tsunami Fund. That's happened in the Southern Hemisphere, devastating effects on the little, the tiny nation, innit? A tiny little island. We've stuck together for Mossy, and we'll stick together for 𝐵𝐵𝐵𝐵's people as well, So that's what we do as Hull Kingston Rovers fans. It's obviously the first game as Sewell Group, Craven Park. We've got the new sponsors. We've got the fact that the stadium could be bought soon. We've got Craven Street. Hull KR shirts are going to be there. They're going to be bands on. There's new food. There's new beer products. There's loads of interaction for the kids as well. And I think that's what Rovers are doing better than anyone now. You look at the old Toronto style of their South Stand. When, it was a bit of a farce, some of their games, when there was playing Oxford and winning 86-0 at the Lamport Stadium, but it was a party atmosphere. And that's, I think, especially when the weather gets up, obviously it'll get colder tonight, especially now the sun and the lights dropping. It is going to be cold in East Hull tonight, but I think if we can get behind the boys, get a good atmosphere, get everybody there nice and early and generate that atmosphere and show the likes of 𝐂𝐿𝐵𝐵𝐵, Sam Wood, Frankie Halton, Tom Garrett, whoever even plays tonight or who's sat in the stands, let's give these players gold. This is a fan base. But yeah, it's really good to chat to you all, guys. Obviously, there's not loads and loads of interaction. I didn't expect it because, it's a bit of short notice. I just had a bit of time to kill, so I thought I'd come on. I think what we're going to try and do, not tonight, just because I'm trying to get something sorted on this StreamYard where I can put it on my profile as well and my LinkedIn and try and do a bit more interaction. So I think what we will eventually do is try and get a bit of fans perspective on it. We'll do little interviews at the ground. We can go live on my phone on StreamYard and do exactly the same. Obviously, it'll just be me doing a camera like this. But if you want to come speak to me or Chris, Chris is in the West Stand tonight, I'm in the North. If you see me, come chat to us. That's what we do it for. Let's spread the word. We want to be a fans podcast. We have great viewings, but we could have so much more. And we really appreciate everything you do for us, all the shares, the likes, the retweets, your listeners. We've had like 35,000 listens now in over 35 countries. It's ridiculous. But come see us, come chat to us, and we'll discuss it. You can say, I didn't agree with you there, or I agreed with that podcast, because that's what we want. We're just amateurs. We do it because we love the club, but we like talking about it as well. So we really appreciate everything, guys. Let's start the season with a bang. Remember, it's Hull Kingston Rovers against the Wigan Warriors. Sounds like a good idea. That's great. Thank you, buddy. Really appreciate it. I hope to have plenty of more good ideas. That's why I do it. I know sometimes it might not be, but thanks for agreeing with me there. But yeah, so let's get there nice and early. It should be a brilliant occasion. Let's hope the rugby doesn't spoil it, but we will see you at 8 o'clock. Remember to keep following the podcast. Remember to follow me and Chris. Share everything we do, and you can listen to my interviews on BBC Radio Humberside and Beverley FM. I'll also be on Beverley FM 107.8 FM tomorrow. From about 2:30 doing the sports talk. I'll also be previewing the Hull FC game on the weekend. I'll be talking about Hull City, but predominantly I'll be doing a bit of a 15 to 20 minute analysis and review of the Wigan game, and I'll be spreading the podcast there and everything. So, and again, there'll be buckets, I believe, tonight for the Hull to Huddersfield walk, for the defibrillators, for the academy and the reserves. So message Ben Parker, the lads who were doing it, Liam Wasling, really good lads. We've donated a 2009 signed shirt for them. So chip in. Give them the money, because it's going to benefit Jason Neverton's academy lads, our girls team, our women's team, because we are one community, one club, the pride of East Hull. So I will see you down Poorhouse Lane in a few hours. I will see you soon, guys. Thank you. Up the Robins. And remember, obviously, just keep following us and everything like that. So I will see you soon, guys. I've been Joe Appleyard. I appreciate it with short notice, but thanks for listening.